Happy Tip Tuesday. I am Lorraine Brock with Get Organized. I'm a professional organizer and owner of Get Organized. And each week on Tuesdays, we bring you an episode of Tip Tuesday. It is all about organizing, somewhat funny, very practical organizing tips. And today I have Josie,
Hi.
One of our client managers. And Josie's new to Facebook Live, though you're not new to social media.
No.
Just her
please.
First Facebook Live.
Yes, please bear with me because I might forget something. I might not say something. So please just bear with me here.
She'll be awesome. So today we're going to talk about organizing tips from a standpoint of those fans of ours that have businesses in their home, that may even work from home, that we're going to give you some of our tips. Now, we realize that our industry is different than your industry, right? I mean,
Right.
Some of our tips may not apply to you. But I wanted you guys to meet Josie, and we're going to talk a little bit about her role and a little bit about what she does and some uniqueness of what happens when she books a client or communicates with one of them. But then we're going to get in to actually organizing tips of what she does, and one tip that I do when we're actually organizing our desk space and trying to handle all the inquiries, right? I mean,
Right.
it's a challenge. And as a business owner or an employee, you've got to figure out what works and what doesn't for your industry. So we're going to give you guys some tips on that. So I wanted to mention something. I mentioned this to Josie before we started. Recently, you guys know that there have been an eclipse of the moon. Is that what it was called?
I think so.
I think
solar
so.
eclipse.
Solar eclipse or something. Something that was
blood
extraordinary.
moon.
The blood moon.
Blood moon.
That's right.
Okay.
So I saw it, wasn't even planning on going to see it. So a couple nights ago, I get these binoculars out, and these are very high-powered binoculars. I had specifically asked for these years ago. Got them a couple, like a year ago from my husband as a gift. And I took the binoculars out of the bag and took them outside. And I was like, y'all come out here. We're going to find it. Look at I realized it's not a telescope. It's a pair of binoculars. Mm-hmm. And I kept looking, and the moon was centered directly over me. Like I was really good placement. But I kept taking the binoculars and looking far to the left, and then I look at far to the right. My husband came out and he goes, "What's your problem? It's right above you. Just go straight up and you'll find it." And of course, when you're trying to find something in a very small window of field of vision in these binoculars, you got to get right on point, or even slightly being off you're going to miss it. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, he goes, "Well, look, let me take this over. And I was like, okay, whatever, you try. So anyway, he started doing it, and, he wasn't leaning left or right. He knew it was right above him. He still couldn't see it. And I'm like, I told you can't see it. It's too hard to find. Well, all of a sudden, he brings the binoculars down, and he's looking at him, and he goes, "You dork. The cover's still on the binocular lens."
Oh my goodness. That's something I would do. And I would be dead set on it's wrong. Absolutely wrong.
It's like,
I bet
yeah.
you had so much fun with that one after that.
Oh,
I still let you live that.
Well, yeah. Well, he was so proud of himself that he found this issue of why it couldn't be found, that he went inside directly and told our son, and our son, only mom would do that. But my point in telling you guys that from an organizing standpoint is, sometimes other people can see a different way to do something, or see where you're making a mistake, or something's going to take you longer to get done. Just another set of eyes, right? And I was out there, 5 minutes trying to figure this out. And the whole time, it really just took someone else to come into the picture to find where I was going wrong, where my challenge was, and to give me a solution and ultimately fix this. So for you guys that are considering, an organizing company, we'd absolutely be honored to take great care of you. And I really think that from a standpoint of organizational professionals coming in your home, they can see things that you can't. They see solutions that you can't. And I just thought of that story related to the organizing industry of where we're at, and want to tell you, sometimes it's not you. It's just we're so limited in what we know and what we think is right that you really don't consider somebody else's solution until you get another set of eyes in there. So anyway, just an FYI on that.
That was a great story.
So little personal story this week that made me look like a dork, but it was a good lesson. So, okay, Josie, tell us what a client manager does. Like, what is a client manager, and particularly speak to it as our industry with Get Organized.
Okay, so my job for being a client manager for Get Organized is basically all of the office work. I am the point of contact when I'm working. There's actually another client manager. I'm the second one. Tori is our first one. So we do both handle the phones on different days, but it is only us on that day. So what we do is we answer the incoming calls. We get all of the leads. And we answer all of the emails coming in, and we basically just keep the office running, and we get all the organizers the jobs, and we just go from there.
Yeah, and you handle like client issues if there's an issue, or payment issues, or even organizers.
Yes. And that's funny that you say that too, because that's a very rare thing for us. I know I'm not tooting our own horn, but I don't very much get a lot of client issues. So when it does come in, yes, we absolutely do handle those, but it's a very rare thing that we do.
Yeah. And, obviously I always say when you're hiring an organizer, it's not if something's going to go wrong, it's when.
Right.
And you just really need to make sure you have a company that you're looking for or looking at that is going to be able to support correcting that problem, because, no one's perfect. But you're right. We don't have, we keep our level standards extremely high.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what is something unique that you have to consider as a client manager when that phone rings, when that client emails us and you're talking to them? What do you have to consider when you're putting them with an organizer? I mean, what types of things go through your mind of questions to make sure they're going to get placed with the right organizer?
Sure. So I actually came from the medical field. The most of my career past is the medical field. So, and I did the admin, the scheduling and everything. So it's all pretty similar, but something that is unique when I am on the phone with the client is I get to know their personality. I put myself in their shoes and I get to know who you are as a person. And I match you with the organizers that I've come to love and know over the year and a half, maybe more. I think it's more that I've worked here before or worked here. So just putting the right client with the right organizer is extremely important, because I want to know that when my organizer goes over to your house, you guys are going to instantly connect and you are going to become friends and you're going to go through this journey together, and it's going to be fun and not stressful or chaotic or anything like that, because it can be. It's a huge time in your life to get organized. So I just make sure the personalities are there, the skill set. I listen to what you need, and once I figure out what exactly needs to be done first, we do have a list of skills for our organizers. They are all amazing and they all can do very much anything you want them to do, but we do have some organizers that are stronger in areas than some others, and that's okay because everybody's still learning. So I do take in mind the skills that are going to be needed for your job, and I will make sure that you get the right organizer on that one.
I like that you said my organizers, because you take ownership of it.
They're mine.
I will make sure that my organizers get, but it's true. You take ownership of having to place the right organizer with the right client.
Yes.
And there's more than just checking availability, even though absolutely that can be it. I mean, syncing up people's schedules is complicated enough.
Right.
But I like that you take the ownership. What is, this is a really good one. What is the most, should I say most unusual, and I'll also say the most common type of inquiries? Give me both. The most unusual inquiry that you received with in your tender here with Get Organized, and the most common inquiry that we get coming in. What would those be?
Okay. So let me start. I'm going to start with the most common, because I actually had two on my mind, and I went with this first one. And it's packing and unpacking and moving. And you don't think about that when you are thinking of getting organized. That doesn't really cross your mind, but that is one inquiry that I get almost every single day, whether it's, I'm from Abilene, Texas, and we all kind of stayed where we were all the time. DFW, Oklahoma
Like you didn't
City,
move
Tyler,
any?
No.
You didn't move any?
Tyler, all the areas that we service, they're constantly on the go, whether it's getting a new job or just moving into a different house, moving parents out of their houses, moving parents in with them, just all kinds of different packing jobs that I have been learning about. And there is a certain way to pack that I've learned. Never knew that, because when I move, I just throw everything in a box. And now that I've worked here, I am like, wow, that box is for something.
Yeah,
so,
we actually have packing training.
Yes.
We actually have packing training. And just for the viewers, you never pack dishes this way. Never lay dishes flat.
See? I did not know that.
Because that pressure just can crumble them. So you always want to lay dishes up and down.
Never knew that. I would I would put a piece of paper in between it or something,
And that's okay.
then just stack it on top of each other. That was my packing.
Yeah, and you may be lucky and not have them break, but I mean, when you're doing it professionally and you want to make sure your client's happy at the other end, we're not willing to take that risk. But yeah, you may be successful doing your own packing and laying your dishes this way, but again, you might be successful. Right. All right, so what's the most unique inquiry that we get?
Okay. So
or unusual.
That was the one.
Yeah.
So let me just go ahead and say that anybody that calls in and you think you have an unusual inquiry, like, try me, because I've heard just about every single thing. So please don't feel like you have this something that we can't help with. I guarantee you we can probably help with, and I wouldn't say that it's super unusual, but somebody did call me and ask if I could send someone over to help her bake. I thought that was
true.
Different. It was just something I've never heard before. And I even called you on that day and I was like, do we help people bake in their kitchen? And I mean,
if we get to taste it.
Yeah. I mean, I would have gone over there and helped her bake.
Bring your apron. Yeah. And we have aprons that get organized. That would have worked.
See?
I don't even know what ended up happening with that client, but I'm like, I told Josie, I'm like, if they want us to come over and bake, we will do it organized and we will come over and help them bake.
Absolutely.
But to be honest,
we might see in the kitchen.
Excuse me. Okay. I'm like, there's totally no reason we couldn't, but that's not where I want to spend my money.
Right. But we could go into your kitchen and probably see that you probably need it to get organized, and then we can go into that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure, we'll come over and bake for you.
Yeah. And we'll bring some recipes, too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into our tips with the office space that you're at your desk 10 hours a day. Potty breaks are a challenge sometimes.
Sometimes not optional.
They're not optional, so you have a porta pot. I'm just kidding. So, Josie, give us your tip number one, to give us one tip on how you keep organized at your desk when you're there and you're working. And we obviously know this is an industry that you're working in, the professional organizing industry. Mm-hmm. So it may not apply to all of our viewers, but for those that work from home or for their company or have a small business, they may be able to glean something from this. So what would your tip be for staying at your desk and keeping it organized?
So my tip for keeping my desk organized, I actually learned this from our other client manager, Tori. She, I'm sure if you've called in the office, you have talked to her because she does work a lot more than I do. But I actually, and I don't know if you can see, but I have
a little bit
filing system that I use. So I don't necessarily keep my desk cluttered. If I have a paper, we call these lead sheets. So when a client calls in, we put all of their information on the lead sheet. And instead of just setting it to the side or putting it on, to do later, I actually sort it, and file it into a folder over here so that it gets off of my desk. But I also know that it needs to be done by the end of the day. And my folders are actually empty by the end of the day. So that's something that really helps me stay organized and keep my desk from being cluttered all the time. So
when you have all those pieces of paper on your desk all day long and you're trying to find what you need, I mean, things can get lost because the visual clutter is all around you.
Yes.
So, you're taking them, putting into a folder that you know at the end of the day, those things need to be emptied, and you're going to check them on your probably your down moments.
Yes,
you know, when you're
absolutely.
not actually doing something on your down moments. Yes. So that's a good tip. Okay. So tip number 2 is my tip. It's the only tip I'm going to share today. The rest are all Josie's. But I'm going to give a tip that keeps me organized at my desk. So Josie showed you she's sort of filing and sorting as she goes into a system that has to be empty at the end of the day. So with my tip, now my tip's going to relate both to if you have a small business or work from home, or this is just home and personal papers. It may have nothing to do with business stuff. So everybody that has paper, which is all of us to some level, we have paper, needs to have a place in their home. I would normally recommend putting this in an office space, but it can be in a kitchen, some place where the paper is dealt with when it comes in the house. But an area that we call a to be filed. You know, often people will have papers that require no action on them at all. Like you just need to keep it, right?
Right. Like receipts.
Or maybe statements that are done. They've been paid. They're done. They're finished. That you've got to do something with, and that doing something with is filing it away. That's what you got to do with it. But it often gets mixed up with other things that you need to take action on, like paying a bill or filling out a form or whatever it might be. So have a space in your home. It could be at your desk, which is where mine is, but it needs to be a place that is just papers that need to be filed. Okay. Don't mix it up, because then now you're having to spend time to sort through those things to find the things you really need to take action on and the things that you don't. So just have a basket, a cubby, a slot inside of furniture, a cube, a cubby. You know, it could be a file, just like Josie showed you back here to her right, is that just that you put it into a manila folder, and when that folder gets large enough, you go file all of those away in a file cabinet or a file drawer. So it's just something I think is really important when you're keeping the paper under control at your desk, is don't mix it with all the other stuff that require action.
Right. That's extremely important.
Just coming in and sometimes it's immediately, there's nothing to do with it, put it in that to be filed. If you've got to do something with it and then later you're finished with it, there's nothing more to do, put it in the to be filed. And then when you're ready to periodically during the year, file away. So all that's together.
Really nice for what I'm extremely busy all the time. If I'm not working, I'm taking my daughter somewhere, we're cleaning, we're cooking, whatever we need to do. So no, we don't always have time to go into our file system and make it perfect. So that's a nice quick way.
Just a quick way. It's almost like a pre-sort before you put it into its final destination type thing.
That's nice.
So, okay, Josie, you're up for tip number 3, and you work from home a lot. Yes. As a client manager, where all the client managers work from home. And I know that many of our fans that will be watching this or that are with us live, it can be a problem. Noise can be a problem when you're working from home. I mean, whether you're on, like my husband works from home a lot, and I think yours does too, and they're having conference calls all day. In our case, you're talking to clients and stuff. So how do you overcome the factor of the noise when working from home?
When my husband's working from home, I just kick him to the living room.
And put duct tape over his mouth. Okay, that's awesome.
Quiet. So that's...
Wrap the dog.
No.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no, we're totally kidding. So actually, tip number 3 for me, for keeping noise out of my area, is actually pretty easy for me personally. I actually learned how to tune out noise when my daughter was 2 years old, and she would bang stuff everywhere and scream all over the house. So as a mom, you kind of learn how to tune it out. But if you don't know how to do that yet, we do actually use these in the office. And this is a very amazing headset that cancels out noise, but also kind of keeps you in your own zone here. So just putting it on.
And what brand are they?
So these are Jabra. I don't know if you can see those. But they are actually cordless as well. I just keep them on the cord for my peace of mind. So you can walk around the house. You can, usually if you need to go outside and grab, the mail or a package that just came, you're able to do that as well. So
yeah, I know that
multifunctional.
One of anyone who deals with the phone has a pair of those. Like we don't have, you may not need them all the time, but if you've got some noise or people outside mowing yards, one of our client managers, it was Tori, when we were practicing with these, she's like, okay, I'm going to go to my kitchen now and I'm going to go get ice. And I want you to tell me if you can hear me. And she was right there at the dispenser getting ice and I couldn't hear a thing. So
amazing.
If someone, sneezed in the background or the dog barked or your husband's like, hey, honey, we're out of toilet paper. I'm just kidding. It happens.
While you're on the phone
with a client. So that prevents it. Now, I'll be honest, I don't wear them every day because the conditions in my home, I know that no one's going to make noise. But there are certain times that I'm just unable to control that factor of outside noises. Maybe a UPS guy knocks on your front door, Mm-hmm. And so those are very good. Now, I know you use yours plugged up.
Yes.
And I've done mine the same way many times. If you do use them wirelessly, they do have a range or a radius. I'm not sure what that is, but you can walk around. Mm-hmm. So they do have a radius where you can get a good connection. And then also, I don't know the max amount of time that you can get out of them, but it's at least 8 hours.
At least
8 hours that you can get of use.
It will tell you
how
long you have
What is the little wording it uses?
It's like 14 hours battery remaining. I probably sounded just like it.
Just like it.
To be honest
just
with
like
you.
it.
I hear it every day, so.
So the headsets aren't cheap. I think, to be honest with you, when we bought them, they were about $150 to $200 a set. But it is so worth the money. It is quality. And we did our research on this. And my husband's a big IT guy. So he did the research to make sure that it was going to be top quality and that it was going to have a good sound. And there's also a little mic here on it. If you want to show him that if you need to mute and cough, you just raise it up. And then when you're ready to get back and talk, you can lower it down. So anyway, it's a good tip. And then obviously you can, for those of us, especially women with the small children, or, if you need to tune it out, you can always put them on there.
Right.
It's like, I'm not dealing with it right now.
Sponsor us, Jabra.
That's it. Sponsor us, Jabra. That's right. We just did a, what do you call it? Infomercial?
Yeah, promotion.
Promotion for them. Yes. It was due. Okay. Tip number 4, we can get radically busy. And I know that this can be...
That's an understatement.
We do have segments and time and seasons that we have a little bit more, like you can go the potty on some days, right? You can eat. Mm-hmm. But lo and behold, Lorraine will call when I'm having lunch and that goes the free time we had. So we can get radically busy. And with that, there's emails coming in, there's calls coming in, there's voicemails being left. And not only that, there's other ways that we get leads that come in, that different platforms that we've got to move screens and go somewhere else. So tell our fans how to handle, some organizing tips on how to handle to getting them when you can't get to them quickly. What are some strategies?
You run away. I'm just
run
kidding.
Away. Yeah.
No, so my tip number, is it 4?
It's, okay. Tip number 4.
Tip number 4 is something extremely important in probably every aspect of your life is prioritizing. Mm-hmm. Make sure you get what's coming in right now. Something that you've had kind of sitting off to the side for a couple of months. It still can wait, but you also still need to get to it. So we actually have a wonderful system within our system, and we work off of Outlook. So I don't know if you can
We don't want to show any proprietary information.
We don't have anything up right here, but we do work within Outlook right here. So something that really helps me stay completely organized and get the top lead first is color coordination. So what we do is, I don't want to click on it to show names or addresses, but we do have a calendar that has every call that we need to make in red for very important, needs to be called right away, green is very important as well, but you can still wait a little bit. Definitely red needs to go before them. And then we have yellow, which is calls that we've kind of been trying to contact over the months, and we just want to check in with them and make sure that they're, if they're still needing help, we're happy to help them. So color coordination is just something that really helps me stay on top of all of my new leads coming in. We also send in an end of day. Like I said before, there is one of us in the office a day. So, I mean, imagine you are just getting in 3 phone calls at one time. You've got 10 emails coming in. You've got, Facebook coming in with messages. So, having an end of day is extremely important for the next person coming on.
Now explain what an EOD is.
Oh, okay.
Like what things would be in it, because you're switching from one person working that day to another person. So explain some things that would be in that.
Okay, so for the end of day, so I'm working today and I have been trying to contact a client to see if they need to get some holds on our calendar taken off. So basically I need to confirm their appointment. Well, if I did not hear from them all day and I had already left them a message today, I'm going to go ahead and put on my EOD for Tori to contact her tomorrow so that we can make sure that we do get a hold of this client and we can get the schedule on the books. So it's just something that's, very helpful for all of us in the office to know what happened the day before so we can kind of get an idea of what we need to do the day we come in. So that is my tip number 4.
Yeah, and let me go back to the color coding a little bit.
Okay.
So the color coding are leads that have they're warm leads, people that's already contacted us for services. And you might relate this to like a realtor. Potential realtors may have potential or realtors may have potential clients that want to sell or list their home or buy a home that they've told you, well, I need to be contacted in so and so month, and this, I'm just sort of just checking around now. Well, you've got to keep track of that. Don't keep track of that kind of stuff up here.
No.
As you need to check on a potential lead or a potential client to see if they want to book. You've got to have a system that tells you when to do that. And there's various systems out there. Some you can sort of invent yourself and sort of repurpose a calendar like we've done, but we have a whole system. Or you can purchase software out there that could do it. But in our case, we color code those priority calls of clients that we know that really have an emergency. We got to contact them today versus sometimes today versus if we get to it today, right? And that's really because when you guys are coming in the office, there's it's like everything's an emergency. So we really had to bring down the fact that everything truly wasn't an emergency, and we need to start prioritizing based on these guidelines. So we do have a standard of, if this client has been called before and how many times before, then it goes to another color and it, so you have to have a standard. So whether it's you working in your office by yourself or whether you have other people, I think that color coding is good because you can't remember it all.
No.
You can't.
Absolutely not. And that's actually made me think of something else that I do in the office, is I write everything that I need to on just a blank piece of paper. So say I'm on the phone with a client and I need to do something for them at the end of that phone call. The moment I hang up, I've got another call coming in. So what I do is I jot down what it is I needed to do for that client so I don't forget when I'm talking to another client, because I could talk to 10 people a day, 30 minutes each person, and get to know every person. And obviously something's going to slip right out of my head. I'm just going to forget about it. I'm human. So having this, blank piece of paper with me next to me to be able to jot down things that I need to do helps tremendously.
Yeah. And keep in mind too, that we just talked about this, is don't rely on this because you're going to move on to the next phone call or move on to the next email. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll come back to that and finish it. Just get it out of here, because this can get just as cluttered as a desk.
Absolutely.
I mean, this probably, your mind can get even more cluttered than your physical spaces. So make sure you get that out and onto something so you can actually check it off the list, scratch it out of it. And it feels so good.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So that's all of our tips today. So let's go on to last week's giveaway. So last week we showed this. This is I keep saying a car seat organizer, and it is, but it's not for a child's car seat. It's for an adult. So basically you would strap this on to the back of a passenger seat or the driver's seat, and it has pockets all sorts of pockets, and it clips on, and you're able to put, tissues, books, toys for the kids or whatever you want in the back of the seat. So it allows them to be able to get things quickly and keep you better organized, things off of the floorboard, stuff like that. The winner of this from last week's giveaway is Stacy Mead.
Stacy Mead.
Mead. Congratulations, Stacy. And we're going to send this to you in the mail. So be looking for this within the next week and you'll get this. So each week we have a giveaway, and this giveaway could or could not go along with the topic. And for this week, it doesn't go along with the topic. So our giveaway this week, and I'll tell you how you can get the giveaway. So we give away 4 tips today, all about working in your office and trying to reduce noise and desk clutter and so much more. So when you're watching the video, leave down below the tip that you like. There was 4 tips. Let us know which tip you like the most, and you'll be entered this week for some garment dividers. Let me see if I can get a good shot on this. So these little dividers right here are plastic garment dividers that will actually go in your closet, and they will help divide your clothing. Now, if you have kids, you can divide them by sizes, especially if someone else is doing the laundry and hanging things up, and then they'll know exactly where it goes. I mean, I used to buy sizes of kids' clothes way well in advance when I found them on clearance, but they weren't wearing them at that point. If you're an adult, you could separate them out between more like dinner type, dress type clothing, more formal, church clothes, seasonal things, sizes that you hope to get into. Or your fat pants, stretchy pants we call them when you really need to go to a buffet.
That would be all of my closet.
all your stretchy pants. So anyway, these are really good, and you get to label all these exactly how you want. But we're going to send next week 1 winner these garment dividers. So how you win them again is to leave a comment down below of your favorite tip of the 4 tips that we told on Tip Tuesday today. So love them, love them, love them, and we'll mail those directly to your house. We'll pick the winner by next Sunday night and mention it on next week's Tip Tuesday. So, okay, next is our Tip Tuesday's tool of the week.
Yay.
So I'll let you guys know if you're just tuning in. Every week we bring a tool of some type of organizing product. Again, it can go along with the topic or not. It's something that I just randomly choose. It could be a resource. It could be a product. And this is something that I select every week and basically talk to you guys about it, of how to use it, why it's great, and so much more. So this week, let me get my Tip Tuesday, if you'll help me here. Sure. So our Tip Tuesday's tool of the week's inside here. So let me get in here and get this. All right, we're going to put this down over here. There we go. Okay, so this is actually mine. I actually use it. And I don't really know what you call it. You can call it a compartmental.
That's not like a tackle box, is it?
It's not a tackle box.
Okay. Kind of looks like it.
It's what would the compartmental box.
Right. It's got many different
compartments. And I'm going to open it here in just a second. Too. But the unique thing about this one is it's double-sided.
That's nice.
And of course, you're always going to want to look for these if you're going to get them in a larger size like this with a handle on it. Because you can carry it. Now, my husband has a large one of these that is also double-sided that he uses for all of his small IT parts, like nuts, bolts, screws, facings, and I don't even know all the names of the other stuff. So they come in various sizes, and not all of them are double-sided. So this is, you can just sort of see my hand is the measuring stick of how wide this is. And I'm going to open this up.
I have to say, I'm curious to see what the inside is.
So on this right here, these are actually my sewing notions. And I've got like buttons and snaps in here. I've got my sewing pencils and pens, you know, when I'm needing to actually mark something. I've got extra pens for sewing in here. So if I'm taking, you know, if I want to do some mending in the living room in front of the TV, I can grab this. You can use it for any kinds of crafts. Hardware's good, like nuts, bolts, screws, things like that. They make these smaller and without handles. I think we used to call them floss boxes, where you would have, or cross-stitch boxes, but you can buy them at Walmart, Lowe's, any hardware store. And the smaller ones actually, I keep like nails and bulldogs, things that you would hang pictures around your house.
Okay. Oh,
and so I keep the smaller ones in my junk drawers that have like hardware. And I have a 2-story home, so the upstairs has a drawer with all these hanging little nuts and bolts and things I need to hang pictures with. I have one downstairs, so I don't have to run out to the garage every time I need a nail or something to hang a picture with.
Oh, that's
so
really awesome. I didn't even never seen that before.
Yeah.
Used like that. It looks like a fishing tool to me. That's what I thought when I first saw it, but that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. And you can put, you know, a lot of people would put crafts in these.
Yes.
Look, craft
I'm
stuff.
a huge crafter, and that would just be amazing because what I have for my crafts are just big containers. You know, the ones you get from IKEA, you pull out the drawers and stuff. That's what I have. But the little things can go all the way to the back and get lost.
Roll
and
around.
Stuff. So, yeah,
roll around.
That's perfect.
And some of these that you buy, there's pieces of plastic in them that you can move around and make your little compartment larger or smaller.
That's super cool.
So if you like that, look for something a little bit more designer friendly, like you can design more of your spaces. But there is a product like this. Well, it's not really like, there's no handle. But the IKEA has a little product for about $3.99 that's in the kids department that has little compartments in it. It's not a suitcase looking device like this, but it is something really cheap that you could also put hardware in.
Oh, okay.
Really, but it's in the kids department of all places. You would probably not think to look there.
No, I probably wouldn't.
If you make it to the kids department with IKEA, you may not even make it to the kids. You may it's massive. A maze.
So big.
You may not.
So big.
So anyway, if you like that product, look at hardware stores, great places, Walmarts, and again, different shapes and sizes. Even Amazon has them. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, always each week talk about a topic concerning our business, something that may be unique that you don't know about, or something that we just want to let you guys have a little inside view on. So each month we have a newsletter that goes out. And I don't know how many issues we've done, but we've been doing our newsletter probably, of the 12 years we've been in business, I'd say 10. I mean, it's a lot of newsletters.
It is.
Every month we have a girl named Susan that puts our newsletter together, and she designs the contents each month. I have a small section at the very top that I actually type and put together myself. But the majority of the content is created by Susan, and that fluctuates every month based on the season or what's hot and, you know, trendy at the time. We always include, which I think is unique, we always include in our newsletter every month a section called Savvy Ways to Save.
Love it.
It's like totally has nothing to do with organizing, other than organizing in the fact that you're saving your money. And I want to tell you one of the things that was on there years ago, so you can sort of see how unique this section could be. But years ago, when I was doing the newsletter myself, there was a shower water controller. And I have 3 boys, and at the time they were taking massively long showers. Now, if I want to do that, I'm paying the bill. But they weren't paying the bill. So what we did is we found a shower control timer, and basically you install it on the shower head, and you can set it to, I think it was 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and 11 minutes. I mean, it was not very long, but long enough.
Never heard of that before.
Oh, we heard about it.
My daughter would be so sad.
You
I
know,
shut off the shower right in the middle of her hot, relaxing shower.
well, you have.
Sometimes you just gotta do to save. You do what you have to do.
Yeah, when it's a 30-minute, 40-minute shower and you're like, dude, you got to come out there, man. You're like a prune.
Yeah, there's no...
So what happened is we would set this and it would give a beep 1 minute before it turned off. And once that beep got there, the kids are like, oh yeah, I got to get busy, get this soap out of my hair or whatever.
Super funny.
It was hilarious. And then at the end of the 1 minute, it would go down to just a very small trickle. You could finish up with a trickle, but it was like you didn't want, your whole body's getting cold. So when we first did this, the first thing you hear, oh man.
Oh, that's what I would hear. I would be like, what is this?
And I'm like,
time limit on the shower now? Like, you have TV time limit. Now you can't even take a shower in your own house. Oh my goodness.
I know. And I'm a tough love mom. I am. And I have boys. You have a girl.
I know.
The little dainty
It's
girls.
different. She's got to take her time.
I know. So when us girls shave our legs in the shower, it's like that stuff.
It takes forever.
Takes forever. So anyway, we put this shower mechanism, I don't even know what it was called, but we put that in a savvy way to save because it was savvy and it was a way to save. So every month in our newsletter, you don't know what might be in there. It may be something you don't even know exists. It may be an app. It may be a special thing you can get a deal at a store that you're probably not privy to. So just know that that's a great alternative to just getting organizing ideas. You get a savvy way to save. So, but also in that newsletter is every event that I'm speaking at. We don't post that on our website. We sometimes post it on Facebook when I'm speaking. But if you want a list of every place that I'm speaking that's open to the public, it will be on that newsletter. And most of the time they're free. There may be some that do charge, or if we do events. There's other things in there like before and after pictures or special products that we've used. It's just excellent content about getting organized. And we don't bombard you with emails. So if you're not on our newsletter list, make sure you go to the homepage of our website. And I think we have a new website. So I also think it's on the contact us page as well, and sign up for our newsletter because you will not regret it. But if for any reason you don't want to be on there, once you're on there, just opt out at the bottom. Easy breezy.
Subscribe.
Easy.
Yep. And it's honestly just a really good read before bed. I mean, everybody has their little, well, I don't know if everybody does, but I have a little hour that I give myself before bed that I just relax and get, just try to go to sleep at least. And it's just a wonderful read before bed. Get your information in. Call us the next day if you have any questions because we're always answering the phone. So
yeah. And special events are going to be on there. Like sometimes we have what we call it's a call-in day. You just get to call me and talk to me at no cost. And we do it like 30. We've done it like normally definitely once a year, sometimes twice a year. And we just basically have you call in and you get a 30-minute window of talking to me and sending me pictures, and then we have to hang up and it goes to the next person. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So anyway, join our newsletter. If you're not on it, I promise you will get something out of it, and you will have some kind of solution solved in your life by the newsletter. It's a great thing.
Absolutely.
So next Tip Tuesday is going to be, this is actually going to be one of my, I'm hoping it's going to be my favorite, but we'll see. It's yet to be seen. It hasn't happened. But we're going to be talking about organized labels and tags. Who doesn't like cute labels and tags?
I love labels and tags.
I mean,
love them.
There's just so many out there. Now, we're not going to show you all that exists, but we're going to talk about labels and tags and show you some cute, unique ones. And so join us next Tip Tuesday. I don't know the hour on every Tuesday is unique and different based on our availability and schedule, but it will be a cool topic and we're going to show you and probably give away some kind of label. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what we're giving away yet. So, actually I do. It is labels. We're giving away labels, cute things.
Tune in.
One.
Love labels.
I want the labels. I'll put my tip and win it.
We got labels from Lorraine for Christmas. So.
Oh, what'd y'all get? I can't remember.
We got just the little paper labels.
Oh, that's right. For the kitchen.
Yeah, for all the kitchen stuff.
We're going to show that one too. We're going to show that one too next week. Okay. So don't forget to leave a comment down below. Make sure down below. We love comments. And once you leave a comment, the comment needs to be about one of our 4 tips. Which one did you like the best? If you leave that comment about one of those tips that you like the best, you'll be entered into these garment dividers. I'm trying to make sure you can see this, that you can actually hang in your closet on the existing rod, and it divides out your garments into sizes or styles or seasons. It's a great way to organize your hanging clothing, especially for kids too. So you'll definitely want to enter that by leaving a comment down below.
Absolutely.
Well, Josie, thanks for joining us.
Thank
you did
for
awesome.
having me. I didn't think I would do that good, but I think I did pretty good.
I think you did good. You didn't,
really nice.
I coughed. I mean,
I didn't cough.
You didn't cough.
No. But I also wanted to mention before we left too, I know those of you who are watching at home, if you do have somebody else that you think might be interested in this, go ahead and share this video. This is definitely shareable. Give us a like or a heart, or no mean faces, because we don't like mean faces.
No.
But we would love a like and a heart too. So you go ahead. Hit that button.
So, well, I am Lorraine Brock with Get Organized. And again, each week here on Tip Tuesday, we give you great organizing tips, somewhat funny, and definitely very practical talk about getting organized. So I hope you join us every Tuesday here on Tip Tuesday. And until then, we'll see you next Tuesday on Tip Tuesday. Have a great day.
Bye.